Hey, this is Sasha, and thanks for joining me here on Backstage Income, where I share with you how to build and grow a profitable business. Now, in today's episode, what I want to do is share with you 11 different types of content that you can use to go ahead and send out to your email list. So if you're wondering about, hey, what content should I send them? How do I build the relationship? I don't want to keep sending the same type of thing. So if you're kind of bored with the content that you're sending out or presenting, this might give you a few content ideas and variations. Now, if you've never joined me before, be sure to take a look at our website, backstageincome.com, where you can see some other great training resources, PDFs, and booklets that you can download absolutely free. So let's kick things off and let's take a look at some of these ideas of content that you could use to send out to your email list. So the first one, my content idea for you is to go ahead and share a story. So if you have a story, it doesn't necessarily have to be that personal of a story. It could be a story of you just going down and walking, grabbing a cup of coffee. It could be a story that you had with your kids reading a late night bedtime story. It could be you making dinner where you mess things up. Now that story will probably tie in to something that you're presenting, talking about, or looking to promote and sell in the future. But if it doesn't, it's okay, because you're still building some kind of connection with the audience on a personal level. So go ahead, share a story. Could be personal, could be about you, could be about someone else, something you've heard of. Share a story is one piece of way to connect with your audience. Another way is to go ahead and do a Q&A session. So if you get a lot of questions, let's say you're doing hair-related videos and hair-related blogs, if you get a lot of questions about, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? You could do a Q&A session on those types of topics. So how do you go ahead and get ready in the morning? How do you go ahead and work out and lose that much weight? So all these things, could be beneficial, because people are wondering, hey, well, if you're asking these questions, somebody else is asking these questions. Well, maybe someone else also wants to know the answer to all these different questions. How much water do you drink? What makeup do you use? What video camera do you use? All those things people are curious about, to get some insight behind the scenes. Email content idea number 3 is actionable tips. So if you have a procedure and steps that people could go through to get the results that you have, some tips, strategies, and thoughts for those kinds of things are great. So if you have some tips to, let's say, make candy better, if you're doing and operating a cooking channel, then you could go ahead and send that kind of email content to your readers. So anything that could help them. Hey, here's some tips and tools that I use to go ahead and make my candy taste better. Here's some tips that I use to save myself some time. Any actionable tips are helpful. Okay, content idea number 4 is challenges. So if you have, let's say you're in a health niche and you want someone to go ahead, either stretch further, lose weight, those kinds of things, well, you could go ahead and have a challenge where people measure the distance that they are on the stretch factor between them and the floor. Well, you could go ahead and challenge them to take a few inches off of that within the next few weeks if they continue to stretch. For other people, it might be losing weight. Well, hey, go ahead and see if you could take off or shed 3 pounds in the next week. All those challenges, pushing them, motivating them, could be a nice content form for you to connect with your audience. Or maybe a challenge that you're going through. It could be a challenge that you're testing and you want to share with your audience, and maybe they want to go ahead and be a part of that challenge as well during your journey. Content idea number 5 is behind the scenes. So if you have something that you want to share with them, kind of like what we do with the Inside Days, behind the scenes, cameras that you use, those kinds of things are always people are interested in. They want to know behind the scenes what's going on, what's happening, what tools, what equipment do you use. So if you have any insight that you want to share with them behind the scenes, then go ahead and share that with them, because they'll be interested to know that. Content idea number 6, weekly favorites. So if you do something on a week-to-week basis, something that you like, it could be, let's say if you're doing makeup review tutorials, right? Well, it could be, hey, here's my weekly favorite for this week on the lipstick that I love, or here's my eyeliner that I like. If you're doing, let's say, a YouTube channel where you're talking about camera gear, equipment, how to create cool videos, then it could be, hey, this is my weekly favorite way to edit and produce videos. It could be my weekly favorite camera for this year. It could be the top 3 microphones that I like, that I like to use when I'm filming, whether it's on the go, one is indoors, and one is maybe an interview shot. So again, really just depends on the niche that you're in, but anything with favorites, top lists, that's a very, very cool content idea, because people are always curious to know, again, what's your favorite? What are the things you're doing behind the scenes? All these things create really wonderful content. And here's content idea number 7 is go ahead and write a blog post. So if you have a blog post that's written, maybe even a video that you've done, well, just send it out to your newsletter. Let's say, hey, this is what I've worked on. This is what I've created. Here's some of the new updated information, and now go ahead and read about it. You don't have to always share the coolest, most awesomest things. It just could be just, hey, I wrote this content piece. Here's a new blog post. I just wanted to send it out to you because I thought you would enjoy it. It's kind of like a newsletter where you're sending out the news of what you've done and created. And in this case, it would be a blog post. Content idea number 8, resources list. People always want to know those behind the scenes things, right? The tools that you use, equipment that you use. If you got a resources list, or you want to say, hey, I just picked up some new camera gear. This is the camera gear that I'm using. This is what I used to use, and this is why I got it. Well, again, people are curious to know these things, and that's why it would make another great content idea for your email subscribers. Email content idea number 9 is hacks and fixes. So let's say you're struggling with lighting, maybe designing a studio set. If you have a hack or a fix to do something, like how do you bring in more lighting to your studio set? How do you go ahead and fix your cell phone if it has water damage? All these things are very handy and helpful, especially if people can do it themselves, save some bit of money, save a bit of time, frustration. Hacks and fixes are really great, especially people who are in a time crunch. So if you have one of those tips and ideas, send it to your email subscribers. Email content idea number 10 is coming soon. So if you're running out of ideas, go ahead and tell them what's to come. It could be a product that you're working on. It could be a book that you're looking to launch. It could be things you're thinking about developing. It could be things in the future, your plans. All these things people are curious to know, because if it does pan out, it builds excitement for your product launch. So let's say I'm writing a book, and if I'm writing a book and I say, hey, these are the titles I'm thinking about for my book, what do you think is the best one? It's getting them engaged on what's to come and coming soon. And now you have audience participation, and they might be curious on that product. How is it doing? How is it going to release? What's going to be the cover? It's kind of like a little puppy that's being grown up. We're curious, as you see it evolve, like a storyline or a show, what's going to happen next? So the same thing here with a coming soon product, idea, concept. People want to know what's to come next. And then my last idea for you is exclusive content. Since they are on your newsletter list and you're sending them email content, it's sometimes really nice to really spark up that value and just take it to the next level and send them some exclusive content, maybe content that they don't get anywhere else, content maybe that you don't share that often with other people publicly. So sending it in an email and then hiding the rest of it privately so that they have to click a link to go to it. Could be like a video series that can really just score some kudos and points with your audience. You don't have to make it too difficult. It doesn't have to be, a 4-month project that you send out for free, but it could be just some nice, interesting personal thoughts, personal story. It could be just something exclusive that you don't normally share or open up or do with your email subscribers. So those are some of my ideas for you. If you're looking to create some content for your email subscribers, use some of these ideas to diversify and mix up some of your content pieces, and that'll keep people a little more engaged. It'll keep their attention a little bit more sparky, and hopefully it'll allow you to really connect better with your audience. So that way you could go ahead and continue to build and grow and evolve your business, and in the end, make more sales, profit, revenue, and building more clientele. All right, so thank you so much for joining me in this week's episode. Hope you found it helpful and insightful, and if you did, then go ahead and subscribe to my newsletter list by clicking the link right over here. Enter your email address when you get there, and you'll be notified as I release new goodies, freebies, templates, or any other cool stuff. So get on the newsletter list so that way you know what's happening. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.